And what's up? It is Thrash Life episode 14. Your boys are here in the studio. It is March 4th. And our guest today will be none other than Wade Brown of the band Meteor King, fellow resident of Orion Studios across the way over here. Had a very interesting conversation with him early today about all the things we usually ask musicians about, get their perspectives on all aspects of the journey. Today is National Day of Unplugging.
Okay.
Don't unplug this podcast just yet until you finish. But yeah, consider turning some stuff off today. National Grammar Day. I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna be able to live up to it.
I'm not into that.
That's National Employee Appreciation Day, which is good. Always appreciate your employees. It's also Telecommuter Appreciation Week, National Salesperson Day, Overseas NHS Workers Day. That's the UK National Health Service.
Oh, okay. All I could think of was the National Honor Society in high school.
Oh, yeah. And also National Marching Band Day, all bundled in there into the employees sort of thing. So, also, if you're an employee, you work for yourself, it's your day too. Any day is your day if you want it to be, I guess.
How come there's no National Employee Monetary Bonus Day?
Ooh, that would be
that would be a lot better than this meaningless appreciation.
Yeah. It's also National Toy Soldier Day. So if you got them Warhammers, get out the toy soldiers. National Dress in Blue Day. I believe it was like a white shirt day the other day that we did this.
White t-shirt or something.
Now it's dress in blue. So today's Blue Day. Oh, sorry, I got some dark green on. National Pound Cake Day. I like a pound cake.
Yeah.
International Scrapbooking Industry Day. Familiar with scrapbooking?
Yeah. My aunt is very into scrapbooking.
Yeah, my mom went through a phase in the 90s with all the stickers and the little things in the scrapbook.
I mean, it's cool to go through and look at it.
Yeah. Very artsy and crafty. It's Universal Human Beings Week. So if you are a human being, what up? If you're a lizard person, fuck off.
Yeah, it's not your week.
It is Jewish Book Week. That's not related to the lizard person.
No.
Don't pin that on me. I didn't read ahead. Sorry. Endometriosis Awareness Week.
What is endometriosis?
It is a bad thing that happens to your body. I'm sorry. I'm not particularly versed in endometriosis.
Right.
Will Eisner Week. Do you know who Will Eisner is?
Well, when I was a screen printer with Matt and a different Ed, there was an employee there named Will Eisner. And he was one of the worst human beings that we ever came across.
I don't think this is the same Will Eisner.
Okay.
This guy is regarded as the father of cartooning, I believe, like before Marvel and all that stuff.
Okay.
The people who inspired the early Marvel cartoonists.
Yeah, definitely not this guy then.
It is National Invasive Species Awareness Week.
Okay.
You got any invasive species in your yard?
Yeah, probably. We got them fucking mayflies all over the place.
Oh, man.
How about you?
Don't have a yard.
Oh, that's one good way.
It is also Cornish Pasty Week. You ever had a Cornish pasty?
What the fuck is that? No, I thought that's a pastry.
I think it's like a mince pie inside of like a flaky crust, like a hot pocket.
Huh.
It sounds delicious.
Decent.
I saw a picture of it. It looked really good.
Probably an English thing.
Yeah, I think so. It is Peace Corps Week. If you're in the Peace Corps, what do they do? Do you know?
Whew. humanitarian aid, I guess. I don't know. I think maybe they hand out like bottles of water.
I'll take it. All right. And it is still the fair trade fortnight.
Okay.
So get your floss dance out or whatever.
Yeah.
Fair trade for Fortnite. So, before we continue, how you been, man? Your week been going good?
Yeah.
Weekend going good?
Yeah.
Everything cool?
Oh man, I've been doing a lot of sleeping this weekend actually.
A lot of sleeping.
Yeah.
I wish I could sleep. My neighbors are just constantly on all angles, above, below, to the right and to the left. They're all always making noise. It is ridiculous right now.
No good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I had to clean up a gigantic mess from kitchen renovations going on and stuff like that. But,
Damn. I might be in the kitchen renovation game soon myself. Maybe not. Who knows? We can only hope. I don't have any way to segue kitchen renovation into this next
speaking
topic.
of revocations.
Yeah, speaking of revocations, there's a new band out there. Just want to throw out that released 2 singles recently called Goldilush. It is featuring members of the bands Darkest Hour, Dead to Fall, and Revocation. Each one of those bands is pretty cool. I've listened to each of those 3 bands, as well as the 2 singles that this new band has put out.
Same. I don't know, it's weird. Like, I feel like it's like if you're a musician, you're like, yeah, I want to play grunge. That stuff's cool again. But then when it comes time to like sit down and listen to it, it's just kind of, I don't know, not my thing like I would think it would be.
Yeah, if you can, we'll try to have some links in the show notes to these singles. It kind of sounds like Alice in Chains in a very direct way, or like Jerry Cantrell's solo work.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure that was intentional in some way, but I'm not sure if this is actually part of a larger movement of revisiting grunge and these like, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains sorts
Nirvana.
of. Yeah, like has it been long enough? Can we rip off these tones now? Can we stop ripping off?
Like, yeah, I
80s
guess there's
bands?
a resurgence of it, but there should be like some hint of your like flavor instead of just like a direct, like this sounds just like this band just put out a new album.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they had multiple drummers in the instrumentation.
I was curious about that. What is that? 3 drummers that are listed?
Yeah, 3 drummers, and I'm not sure, like, I guess they all had drum takes and they spliced them together, or what's going on, or maybe different drummers are doing different songs, but this band has 3 drummers listed, and, hey, if they do 3 drummers live, that'd be pretty cool, but...
That's what I was wondering about. That'd be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But...
like the Blue Man Group up there.
Yeah. Let's see, who are these 3 drummers? Phil Dubois, Timothy Java, and Doug Adams. Damn, who's this Doug Adams? He's the only one with no credits to him.
Yeah. While the guitarist and vocalist Chris Goodwin and guitarist Paul Seymour and bassist Kenny Gardner also have no credits to them. Timothy Java is the dude from Dead to Fall. He was on like the last couple of albums, so he's like a pretty good technical drummer. Definitely did some cool prog metal stuff. And then Phil Dubois from Revocation, also prog metal, thrash metal stuff. But not a whole lot of like proggy thrash stuff going on here. Just as said, like really playing it close to Alice in Chains. Goldilush will release their album Fragile Zombies on April 30th. So, I recommend you check it out. Sure, leave your comment in the YouTube section below, or, get at us.
Tell us how dumb we are for not being mega fans.
Yeah. And, we talked a little bit about Kittie You listen to Kittie since we last talked to?
I didn't.
Damn it. Damn it. I was trying to convert you into being a Kittie fan. Well,
I believe I've seen them before, just by like proxy of them being on a show.
I'm sure they played like Warped Tour and shit like a million times back in the day. So the Kittie guitarist and vocalist Morgan Lander said, you know, when the announcement for When We Were Young Festival was taking place, that they might play some more shows if, you know, hint, hint, wink, wink, you grease the palms or whatnot.
Yeah.
And now they have announced that they're playing the Blue Ridge Rock Festival, taking place between September 8th and 11th at the Virginia International Speedway, or Virginia International Raceway in Alton, Virginia. I think it's worth to note that Blue Ridge was like the site of a major shit show event last iteration. Yeah, it was like they had a real like Woodstock thing where they did not plan properly for sanitation, disability access, camper slots. So like it literally like choked up all the traffic for miles, pissed off all the locals. Like nobody wanted to have the festival there again.
Wow.
From what I heard of the like the attendees who went and just like, you know, were soldiered it out, like, you know, just made sure to see the show and had all their own supplies and shit, and it didn't affect them too much. They said it was a good show. So I guess people wanted to do this again. Now, I also want to mention that one of the ways that this particular festival operates is by being essentially pay to play. So the bands on the like, I don't know, third stage or whatever
one of those scams.
Paying like a couple grand.
$900. Oh wow, even more.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I believe a band.
Because I remember the spot on Summer Slaughter like 15 years ago came with a contract with a $900 debt.
I think this you had to do some sort of battle of the bands attrition sort of thing to even get in there. But then upon having the opportunity to play, you also had to pay, I think, somewhere between $3 and $5 grand to get a stage slot, of which I saw a local Maryland band crowdfund their way into doing it last year.
Wow.
But those guys seem to like, you know, the exposure that they got on that stage, and they got some cool pictures. And ultimately, I heard some other unrelated people complaining that you know, essentially you're playing on the third stage and people are there to see the headliners. They're not even gonna walk over to where you're at. So it wasn't even like a good opportunity. But you know, maybe you don't like, I don't know, Rob Zombie or someone's playing and you decided to walk away and check out the locals for a little bit, and then I'm sure you will get a little bit of traffic.
Sometimes those third stages, the best time is like super late in the middle of the night when none of the other stages are even still operating.
Yeah. We would be remiss if we did not talk about the actual news going on in the world, which is persisting and overtaking all aspects of news. Music news is usually what we talk about, things that are relevant to us. But this week, Russia decided to invade Ukraine, which is a historic event. We'll mark it on this podcast as well. It's before we get into it, I guess we can make our views extremely clear on this. War bad, Putin bad. Obviously, as thrash metal fans, we know about the dangers of nuclear arms and all the like war, and you know the horrors of these things is pretty much the subject matter of a lot of entire bands' catalogs. Yeah. So to see this sort of shit happening in our day and age is it sucks. It's bullshit. It has affected the new music world as well. So we have one of the major topics being Russia being disallowed from being in Eurovision, which is one of the music competition, sort of like American Idol or whatever.
Oh,
For
okay. I was curious what that was.
yeah, they've had some pretty interesting stuff from all over Europe on that show, like dudes popping in full face paint, doing like black metal things on like
okay.
the, it's a lot more
Yeah.
diverse than like than American Idol and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, due to the actions of the Russian government deciding to fucking invade another country in the 21st century,
Yeah.
where like in this thing where people are shutting it all down, and that means that Russia is not going to be allowed into Eurovision. Renowned Russian feminist punk act Pussy Riot. They have those like pink ear hats, and they get in trouble for taking their shirts off and protesting the Russian Orthodox Church and the Russian government. And they've been in prison multiple occasions. They have decided to sell NFTs to assist Ukraine, which their explanation for it was that was the only way they knew how to generate money. And to be fair, I mean, NFTs do fleece people. So, I mean, you're going to fleece some people who have too much money and give that money, that real money, to the people of Ukraine so that they can try to live life, because that's all they're trying to do is just live their damn lives.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for some Russians too that they're just trying to live their lives. It's not like they want this. It's their government.
Yeah. It's just complete ridiculousness on the parts of these governments. Black Sabbath war pigs sang about this, and so long ago, before the Berlin Wall fell, and like here we are back in square one. Like, what the fuck are you doing? There was an interesting article that I found on NPR. It was for Ukrainian musicians rejecting Russia is a matter of national pride. Had a quote from Anton Slepakov, a Ukrainian electronic musician that used to spend a lot of time recording in Russia. And then back then he used to sing exclusively in Russian with his former band. And it made good business sense because Russia has a lot of bigger market, and for the longest time, Russia and Ukraine are obviously part of the USSR together. They used to be banded together, and during this time, they really wanted everybody to speak Russian, similar to how in China they want you to speak Mandarin on all the provinces. They don't want you to speak the regional dialects so much.
Right.
So it just made more sense traditionally, because for a time everybody knew Russian to sing in Russian, and they had more lucrative gigs, and you got a bigger market to cater to. So, man, he was the lead singer of an underground electronic band called.
Ooh, good luck.
Vagonozatsiye, which is Russian for tram drivers. Hey, if you speak Russian, let me know how I did. I don't know. I think it sounds like maybe that's what I got on my paper here. In 2014, he said they were in talks to play this very cool Russian club called Chinese Pilot.
Nice.
But during the negotiations, Russia's aggression in Donbass began, and we, as a band, decided we cannot tour in Russia. And this is an interesting thing. Can you imagine if you had a gig in Mexico or Canada, and some shit starts happening, and you're just like, I guess you're fucking not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rough.
This could be their only chance to play the Chinese Pilot.
Yeah. Russian President Vladimir Putin has long claimed Ukraine has no separate national identity of its own and seeks to reassert Russian influence there. Modern Ukraine was completely created by Russia, Putin said on Monday in a speech on Russian state TV. Russia falsely claims Ukraine is oppressing native Russian speakers. And Ukrainians say they're just trying to build a national identity.
Imagine fighting and killing people over what languages are being spoken.
Yeah. So for centuries, the Russian Empire, then the Soviet Union, Ukrainian was stereotyped as a language of peasants, and Russian was promoted as the language of culture. In 2016, Ukrainian legislation dictated that 35% of the music on the radio must be in Ukrainian, and the law increased popular demand for pop music in Ukrainian. It is kind of interesting that there's a kernel of truth here, where it's like, and then this is always, the best lies have like a grain of truth to them. So it is like, it is not far-fetched to say that the Ukrainian national identity in some way may be newly manufactured, but that's due to like a number of extraneous circumstances, and like,
It's
who
actually
fucking cares?
a very popular old school Russian belief, like from the 70s, that Putin's just never gotten over.
Yeah.
Like it's antiquated beliefs about the whole situation, but he's the one calling the shots, so.
Yeah, and it's kind of insane.
And I guess strategically, as Ukraine becomes more Western leaning, that's bad for him.
Yeah. Obviously, there's we're filming this actually on the 27th of February. A lot could change between the time in which we're filming this and the time in which this podcast
You are
is
listening
actually
to this,
released. So, wish all the best to the people in Ukraine. Obviously, the music scene is pretty fucked. People are trying to live their everyday lives as best they can, despite tanks in the streets, airstrikes, destroying apartment blocks.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, man. War bad. Like, nobody fucking wins.
Yeah.
I will say, there's a lot of like nuclear fear, and my personal take. I'm not saying this is a geopolitical expert podcast or anything. My personal take is that war is fought for money and resources, and destroying the resources and turning things into a barren wasteland does not actually compute for a reasonable like outcome of a war. Like, they don't just want Ukrainians wiped off the map. They want the stuff that's in Ukraine, and they want the people, and they want the infrastructure, the historical sites. They want all of it. Like, it's territory. It's not.
Yeah, but I don't think they would necessarily have a problem with turning Florida into a barren wasteland if we step in.
Well,
So I think that's where the fear is, that it's like that's what's keeping other countries from stepping in.
Yeah.
But also I'm not no expert, but war is good for profits for a lot of countries.
For
So
people
this is
selling
beneficial
weapons.
for a lot of people to allow this.
Yeah, for selling weapons, the defense industry, obviously they want to sell missiles. They're loving shipping the products around. So, but what can you do? I mean, gotta do something.
Yeah. Well, how about a little palate cleanser? We're both Disney fans here.
Yeah.
Heard this story about these two sisters at Disney World who got extremely intoxicated and ended up getting into some sort of an altercation where they were separated, and then they tried to run back towards each other, and one of the sisters slipped in the other sister's vomit, fell into some bushes, and then they started fighting in there, and then separated again, and they ripped their clothes off, exposing their breasts, and start fighting again.
Oh my!
And then they finally get taken down to the security place, where their cell phones, of course, the batteries are dead. So the Disney is like trying to find them a ride home, but they're covered in blood and vomit, and they're naked, and no Uber drivers will take them home.
Dang.
People get wild at Disney now, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's a good reason for not turning Florida into a barren wasteland, right? You want these things to stay happening.
Of course, yeah.
Or maybe not.
Is booze a new thing at Disney? Have they always had booze? Because it seems like they're really ramping it up with the booze right now.
In the Magic Kingdom, you can only have beers inside of table service restaurants. Okay. But in the other ones, they sell booze everywhere. Just like every 2 feet, you can like buy booze. Okay. It's kind of expensive, but you know, and it's actually expensive, and the drinks are a little weak, so it's kind of hard to actually get wasted. I'm surprised, but you can bring your own stuff in, and they don't search your bottles. So well, then you can definitely
that's probably what was going on here.
Yeah. A lot of people do sneak alcohol into the Disney World. Apparently, the guards are not allowed to like open your bottles and sniff them or whatever.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if it is just a soda, I don't want you sniffing my soda. I can try to give it back to me.
Yeah. So,
same thing with Camden Yards. Easy place to get some liquor into.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure. Like, definitely with Magic Kingdom, I wouldn't necessarily want to drink in there because it's just that is the most kid-like of all the parks, and it's just kind of weird to be all fucked up around tons of kids.
Yep. You spend all that money to go there, get in a fight with your sister, and get all super drunk and shit. Like, what is that?
I mean, there's people brawl. People brawl there. I mean, there's actually a well-known phenomenon, and this happens with the city of Paris also, where people have this like inflated idea of like, you know, because Disney bills itself as the happiest place on earth, the most magical place on earth, and like, you know, Paris is the city of love and the, you know, whatever else, and you get there and you find out that just being in a place doesn't like solve your problems, and if you're like a train wreck of a person, you might, you know, Tasmanian devil your way through this situation.
That's interesting.
Actually results in a lot of self-harm and stuff like that as well. I mean,
unfortunate.
Yeah.
So make sure you're mentally in a good place before you go to Disney.
Yeah, just keep in your mind that it's.
Jeez, it sounds like tripping.
Yeah, it is kind of like tripping. I mean, it's a weird environment.
Yeah.
There's not very many places. I'd say it's kind of similar to like a Renaissance festival or something. It's really like so much of a role playing experience where all these people are really into into being the characters and the cast members, and then the other people are really into engaging with people on that level. And I mean, it's just weird. Like, people act very differently in these theme parks.
Yeah.
Speaking of theme parks, we have a nice band that plays dress up. No, they're not like a theme park at all. They're a horror punk band, Meteor King, and a member of Meteor King stopped in today to talk to us about music and all the things going on and their search for a drummer. So let's go ahead and get into this interview that we recorded with Wade Brown. Start, could you introduce yourself and tell us your pronouns?
My name is Wade Brown, or Wade Frankenswade, if you're going by the Meteor King lore. My pronouns are he and him.
And Frankenswade is the same?
Frankenswade, yes. Yes, it's pretty much, they're all the same. Frankenswade is just me on stage. That's just me being like, oh, I have spooky makeup and stuff. So that's me.
Gotcha.
In a nutshell.
How would you describe the music and art that you put out there?
Spooky. No, we play horror punk, so there's a lot of woes in there. We talk about spooky movies, B movies, space movies. A lot of hard punk bands don't talk about like space a lot,
Oh, okay.
like weird like aliens and stuff like that. So we want to go there too. But we also have like a little bit more of like interpersonal things that are mixed in, like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like subjective kind of like life is. We're taking these silly ideas, but we're also putting like a little bit of seriousness into it, a little bit of like life, stuff like heartbreak and anger and all that. We're putting it all in there, but we're also talking about goofy stuff like killer vegans from outer space,
Okay.
or something like that.
Right on. When you play and perform art or music, where do you guys usually play at? What type of places?
We play the Depot a lot. We played Sidebar, we played the Auto Bar, we played Fishhead Cantina, Joe Square, which is a pizza place. We had other places booked, but COVID happened, and we were like before COVID, we were supposed to go to like New York and PA and stuff like that, and COVID happened in 2020, so we never did that.
Right.
So, I mean, we mostly play the Depot a lot. We like going to the Depot. We have to say the Depot is our home in Baltimore.
Okay. So like the local Baltimore circuit,
Yeah.
and aiming to get out of state, but not quite there yet.
Kind of. We're not like, we're a band that doesn't want to, I mean, I'll be real. I don't want to tour. I have a job. I have a day job that I'm not going to quit. I have bills and stuff like that. And also like, I've known bands that go on tour and they're like, we spent a lot of money. And I'm like, I'm an introvert, so I kind of like staying in our area. But like, we'll do like weekend tours. We're open to that, but we're not going to go like cross country, do like weeks of touring. Like that's not feasible these days. Now, if they signed us millions of dollars to do it, yes, we'll do it.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll pay you the money.
Yeah, if we're guaranteed we're going to get our money back. Yeah.
Gotcha. So the beginning of your musical career, before you started playing music, before you had an interest in being a band, before you knew that music was a real force around you that people were constantly creating and promoting, what was it like the first time that music hit you as a real thing that was out there? What was the awakening moment?
Oh, the awakening moment, I can tell you exactly. I was like 13. I mean, before this, I was listened to a lot of Limp Bizkit, a lot of new metal, and a lot of stuff. And my dad also had forced a lot of country on me, which is not bad. It's like Dolly Parton, Hank Williams Jr., not bad stuff. But I know the moment where I was 13, it was like 2003, I got the CD of Blizzard of Oz by Ozzy.
Ooh.
Like I said, I've only listened to like Korn before this. And I put it on and I was blown away. I'd say the exact moment I was like, I want to do this. Like, I kind of want to do this is like when the solo for Goodbye the Romance plays.
Okay.
That solo is so good. It's still one of my favorite solos. It just, like, wow. I might want to do this. And then Mr. Crowley happened. I was like, oh, I definitely want to do this. So that's kind of what started me picking up a guitar when I was like 13. My brother got me like a crappy Yamaha guitar. And,
right.
Went to like Bill's Music in Catonsville to get lessons, and that's about it. I mean, that's what got me playing in just an instrument. Playing punk is a whole nother story. That's like high school and stuff like that.
Right.
Had a crush on a girl, and she liked the Dead Kennedys, and I wanted to get into the Dead Kennedys.
Oh, okay.
That crush went nowhere. We just became friends and stuff like that. But I fell into love into like punk, like Misfits and the Ramones, and then like later on, I got like the American Hardcore DVD where you learn about Bad Brains and Black Flag and Minor Threat. So that's kind of like where I got into the punk side of it.
Okay.
So music was Randy Rhoads, but most of the punk stuff was Dead Kennedys, the Misfits, like high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So beforehand, you had this. I mean, I guess you could say new metal was like more of an aesthetic vibe. Like it was a moment in time which we were all kind of into because it was just happening. It's what was there.
Fred Durst was so cool. I mean, look at that red backwards cap.
Yeah.
I mean, the new Limp Bizkit album, I did listen to it. It's not as good, but it was fun. At least they're not changing themselves.
Right. And then you find Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah. Then Ozzy, Van Halen, Metallica. stuff like that.
And high school pressure is pulling you in different directions to the
Yeah.
punk realm.
Well, I was also hanging out with people that like played like that loved like Pantera and Testament. So I still was getting the metal influence, but like I think punk, I was like, as a player, I felt punk was more my direction.
More organic.
Yeah, because I feel like if you play metal, you typically spend 8 hours a day practicing. And I didn't have the attention to do, I didn't have like the attention span to do it for more than an hour.
Right.
So realistically, punk was more in a direction. I was not going to be Yngwie Malmsteen or
Right.
Joe Satriani. Not going to happen.
Absolutely. I mean, you always could. It's never too
Yeah.
late
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're out there and you want to be the JSX guy. You want to be, Zach Wilde or anyone. First time jamming with other musicians. So you get your guitar. You decide that punk's good for you. Where does it go from there? What links you up with some other people to make some music for the first time?
Probably high school. I met a group of people, including my friend Scott, who was the singer of Meteor King.
Okay.
He was not part of the band. It's funny that we've been friends since like for 15 years plus, and Meteor King's the first band we actually were in a band playing stuff with. He jammed a couple times, but like we formed a band called Zebra Cake. It was not supposed to be the permanent name. It just became the name, and I still hate the name to this day. I actually don't like zebra cakes at all. Like the actual cake, don't like it. So we just formed a band. Other people, like some people that went on to do our stuff, like Ryan Wright of Strong Zero. His first band, I believe, was Zebra Cake.
Oh.
He didn't find his footing as a singer yet. He was like 14, so whatever. None of us did, but we played. We were in Zebra Cake, and had a bunch of incarnations, different members throughout high school. We sucked. We weren't good. We were not the greatest band in the world. But, as a high school kid, you're like, we're awesome. We're the best band in the world.
Right.
So, I mean, I think Zebra Cake High School was probably when we first started jamming.
All right.
Yeah.
And from Zebra Cake to Meteor King, obviously there's a lot of stuff that happens in between, a lot of lessons that are learned when you first play with musicians versus doing the thing that you're currently doing. How would you say the experience has changed over the years? Do you find yourself being more of a leader, less of a leader, are things more focused? Are we more concerned about the output, the money, the time, anything like that?
I'd say yes, that I feel like it's changed dramatically. 2013, I was in a bunch of bands here and there, but I took a hiatus because I got just so cynical and burnt out. Mm-hmm. I put so much into everything that I just burned myself out, and I just didn't like anyone. And then I got back into music. I had a different mindset. I was like, okay, we're not going to make our CDs we're not going to burn them on a regular old CDR and then write on a marker our name and the album. We're not going to do that. We're going to put money into it. This time, I'm now working a job that's not retail. Mm-hmm. And everyone else is working a job that is not retail. So we can actually afford to put money into things now.
Yeah.
Not saying that if you burn a CD and put on CDR and, not saying that's a bad thing. If you do that, do you. But I feel like I'm more of not perfectionist, but I'm on the ball a lot. I'm usually take lead on some things. Okay, we're going to start writing, we're going to record, we're going to do this and start planning on things. It's kind of my detriment too, because I'm not we release an album, I'm always thinking about the next thing. Yeah. Can't sit there and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So I think that since the pandemic, especially the growing point is I'm appreciating things more. I'm slowing it down. But I'm used to being always on the ball, always on the run, going forward, and never stopping to enjoy it. But I think that's the difference. I'm now more, I less care about what people think about me, I think. I think once you hit late 20s, early 30s, you don't care what the world thinks of you. So there's less pressure. When you're early 20s, you're do they like me? Am I cool enough?
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest change for me is just overall maturity as a person.
Right on. And it sounds like you've really ramped up the intensity of like wanting to connect with the output that like, you want to get your shit out there and not fuck around with four guys in a room anymore.
Yeah. And also, picking who you want to be is important, I think. Who you want to play with. I've always said it doesn't matter where you play or how many people you play it to. As long as you enjoy the people you're playing it with, that's what matters.
Right.
I'm playing with my boys. That's what matters. Near like other bands, I've had members that kind of irked me, kind of really like irritated me, or they weren't putting as much into the band as I was. Stuff
Right.
like that. Like a lot of like
Mismatched goals, all the
Yeah.
other stuff.
yeah.
Right on. Speaking of goals, I guess, do you have a super extravagant, lofty musical goal? You seem like a down to earth guy, but have you ever had the desire to play anything super large, do anything real big?
Oh yeah. I mean, if they're like, hey, you want to play? Not Warped Tour. They're dead. They're dead now. What's that thing? If you were young,
Yeah.
or
When
the
we were
fest.
young,
Well,
yeah.
we're not old, so we can't do that. So I'd probably say the Fest or whatever. That's in like Florida.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll play. Yeah, would love to play that. But I'm also realistic and saying doing that is like hitting the lottery. Chances of us being the biggest band in the world is not happening. But the fact that we can play, like, I would love to play Ram's Head one day. I would
Right.
love to play a sold out show. I mean, we played shows that had hundreds of people in it, but we never sold out a place. We would like to do that. My goals are more lower than I say like an 18-year-old kid is. They're going to think we're going to tour the world, but I think the older I get, the more I'm like, that's probably not happening. I'm just going to be happy with what I got.
Right.
Just happy that I'm able to play, even if it's 9 people. I mean, I don't want to play to 9 people. I want to play to 90 people or 900 people, but like, I'm going to give them the best show I can do. That's all I can do. So, I mean, that's the only, I don't really have very big aspirations. I just want to keep playing and just keep playing big shows, get bigger and bigger shows, have fun. And that's all I want, really.
If it all aligns, maybe we'll get a huge show for
Yeah.
Meteor King.
If it all lines up, yes, I would love that. But like, I'm also like, I'm happy with what we got.
Right.
So I'm not like if the band ended today, not saying it is, but the band ended today, I'm happy. We released some good, cool records. We played some cool shows. I'm pretty not done yet, but I'm happy of what we accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah. How about short-term goals? We're all working on things all the time. Is there anything you're particularly, involved in right now as a musician that you're about to turn the corner on?
Well, right now the band is kind of in a state of like rebuilding. We lost our drummer in December for private reasons, but it had to be done. And so we've been kind of looking for a new drummer at the time. Of course, this happened in December, holidays happened. So we just kind of took a little bit of like a little break because throughout the pandemic, we've been working on our full-length album that's been out. It's been out since September, Deep Crimson. We've been working on that. We were kind of burnt out a little bit. So we just need a little time to kind of decompress. Today, actually, as of this recording, we're actually going to be jamming for the first time in 3 months.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the first time in
Yeah.
3 months. Okay.
Yeah, so it's well timed. But we're already in discussions of what we're gonna do. We've thought about remastering some old stuff that we didn't really like the production of. We thought about writing because I mean we don't have a drummer, but there's also things called metronomes and
Yeah.
drum machines. So we can still kind of write. It's also punk, so it's not like we're writing technical death metal.
Right.
So it's like we should be okay to just write or maybe do acoustic. There's so many ideas we could do. But right now we are not working on an album. We're just trying to find a drummer so we can play more shows.
Gotcha.
But we are going to I'm also one of those people that's just like, if we can't play shows, we got to do something. So if we can't play shows right now, we're going to write. So right now I think we're going to be writing some tunes, whether it be we do an acoustic set or we do like just write stuff and just wait till we get a drummer. So if you're a drummer, whichever camera, if you're a drummer, let us know if you like hard punk. So that's the kind of what we're doing right now. I also do like stuff like filmmaking and stuff like that. So I'm putting a lot of focus in that right now because this is kind of cooled down. So music wise, we've been kind of staying still, but we're not done. We're still just figuring things out as we can.
Yeah, everybody's got to take a break now and then, and
Yeah,
kind
and
of healthy too, honestly.
yeah, I mean, it was the best thing because I was getting burnt out personally. So, like I said, I put a lot of fire in the forge. I put a lot of stuff in there, like film and the YouTube stuff and all that. We put a lot of time, so it was good to kind of like I can rest a little bit.
Yeah. Let's talk personal milestones that you've achieved thus far. Have you ever had anything that you really felt was like a personal milestone in your career?
I mean, I'd say our first EP, Della Morte, came out. It was our first show too. We wanted to have merch on our first show, just so it's like, oh, this band is serious. They have their own EP and a shirt. So that's what we kind of wanted to do. I think we did play with Sound Soundstage. We opened for Doyle, who was the guitarist of the Misfits, of those who don't know. So that's big and hard punk for us.
Yeah.
The biggest thing else would be like if we opened for the Misfits with Danzig. That'd be amazing, but that's probably not happening because of them, not us. We're down. There might not be. That was probably big. That was our biggest show. I think we sold $900 worth of tickets. Like, we sold all our tickets. And it was a good turnout. I'd say that's a big accomplishment. We played with 69 Eyes at Autobar. That was a big accomplishment, too. And I think the biggest accomplishment is the most recent album we put out, Deep Crimson. With our problem, what we do is we kind of rush things. Like, let's get it out. This one, because of the pandemic, we took the time. And we really polished it. There was like some lyrics we were just like, that first take, that's good. This one was like, try it this way. We had time to experiment, and I think Deep Crimson, our latest record, is funny enough. Deep Crimson, the art is done by John DeCampus, who was on your show.
Yeah, Ghost Band.
Yeah, he's a great artist too. So he did the art for that, and that's probably my biggest accomplishment. I'm just so proud of that record.
Right.
There's some things I could do over, but that's just me being a perfectionist. The average person's gonna be like, I didn't notice a mess up, or I didn't notice anything different. So I think that's my biggest accomplishment, is that record.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely nice when you have the time to actually go over the songs with the microscope and start thinking about like, oh, maybe we should do songwriting, be a producer sort of, and like think about all the drawing the eyebrows on Mona Lisa before shipping it out.
And it was nice because we recorded, mastered it, and mixed and mastered it here at Orion Studios.
Ah, right.
And Joe from Orion Studios, fantastic. If you're looking to record your album and you're in the Baltimore area, or the Maryland area, the Baltimore area, go to Orion Studios.
I concur. Orion Studios, nice place. You guys mostly focus on a genre, horror punk. When it comes to creating the music and the art, are there things that you stray away from subject-wise, or things that you won't touch for controversy, taboo reasons, anything like that?
I mean, obviously, like the obvious things like racism, sexism, homophobia. We obviously do not do that.
Yeah.
When it comes to genre, we used to like just play whatever. Some songs are very sludgy, and some songs that were like, I feel like now we're more streamlined to more do punk because we kind of stretch ourselves too thin. But subject wise, we don't want to be too political. I feel, and if you're a punk band and you talk about politics, it's cool. But I feel like politics or saying the government sucks is very low hanging fruit of idea. I feel like, well, the government sucks. You can talk to anyone. They're going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
Talk to a conservative or a liberal. They're going to be like, the government could be improved.
Yeah.
So we like to kind of like, and it's also kind of easy to do. So we kind of want to like write stupid stuff. Like we write stupid would I want to see this in a B movie, like Trauma or like some drive-in or Draft House? Would I want to see this? That's the kind of ideas we have. And like I said, we put a lot of our own feelings in there, and I don't want to put disingenuous feelings in there.
Right.
Like making up this, story or whatever. If I'm going through a breakup, I'm going to put it through a song, but we're not going to make it obvious. We're going to put it as a metaphor.
Okay.
So we don't really have a limit. I'd say the biggest limits, the biggest taboo things are the obvious ones.
Right.
Like we don't want to talk about, racist stuff and stuff. I mean, if it's like punching a Nazi in the face, okay,
Right.
that's cool. But like,
so mostly only edgy in the practical gore effects way, and not really edgy in the trying to push the social buttons way.
yeah, just that really. We like to have fun. We don't want to piss anyone off. We just want everyone to have a good time.
That's probably a good strategy for getting your music listened to. I'd imagine there's more people who want to have a good time than people who want to wallow in online shit. But
wallow
maybe.
on whatever's on Twitter.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
So as musicians, we're faced with this term called success, and it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. What does success look like for you as a musician, and by your metric, do you feel successful?
I mean, people have a good time at our shows, so that makes me feel successful. I feel like the biggest thing that would probably be the biggest success, even if I inspire one person to do what they want to do, if I inspire them to play guitar, if I inspire them to write or put makeup on, spooky makeup on, or anything outside of music too, that's the biggest accomplishment for me. If I could be the Randy Rhoads to someone as Randy Rhoads was to me, that'd be great. Even if it's just one person, that's a success to me. If someone leaves that place saying they were awesome, I had a good time, I let out all that negative energy out, that's a success to me.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, opposite of success. Maybe not exactly opposite, but what's the most difficult part for you about being a musician or making music?
I'd say getting people to go to your shows. I think that's just not me. That's everyone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people say, I'll support your band. I'll do that, but they won't go to your shows or they won't buy your record. And I think that's the downside is I think there's too many easy ways to find music now.
Yeah.
I don't mind. We put our stuff on Spotify, whatever. We did find someone pirated our music, which I thought that was a big success. You literally could listen to it for free, but you stole it.
Right.
Whatever. But I think that another thing that could really help outside of just me. I think that venues could have more opportunity to experiment. I understand that it's a gamble to experiment because you have to make money. But I feel like a lot of the same bands play the same shows. If there's like a hard punk band, or if there's a big touring band, it's gonna be the same people playing it.
Yeah.
Or a big punk band, metal, same people are gonna play it. Same openers because they're guaranteed to get money. I understand. I say give them one more shot. I feel like that's the biggest thing that's really holding everyone back, including Meteor King. Is I feel like there needs to be more opportunity for people, and also doesn't help that pandemic happened and venues are closing.
Yeah.
And just in general, just like I feel like if you want to support your punk bands or your metal bands or whatever, go to the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, well, especially now the pandemic's kind of closing. I feel like now people are going to start going to shows more.
Definitely.
I think people just took advantage. I think they just took advantage of it. They're like, I don't have to go to this show. But now that the show's being taken from, they're like, I want to go now.
Yeah.
The need is there.
I'm actually moving into the city myself so that I can maybe go to more shows. Hopefully go to more shows.
Yeah.
It's kind of rough to drive 40 minutes into the city and drink and come out.
And you got to deal with the city traffic. I understand the tunnel. I understand completely.
Yeah. So I'm not positive about your age, and I'm not necessarily going to ask here, but I imagine you were alive at the point in which Napster existed. And
I'll just say I'm 31. There you go. So I was, I was 10. I loved Limp Bizkit. So yeah, Napster was a thing back then. I didn't use Napster. I used LimeWire.
Yeah.
And it destroyed like 2 computers of LimeWire.
Yeah, LimeWire, Kazaa, peer-to-peer sharing, the complete devaluation of music from having to buy a CD or listening to it on the radio. And granted, there was tape trading and stuff that existed in the past, but it wasn't nearly as widespread as the internet was. So the value of songs is questionable to people of our general generation. Do you believe personally, because of this, that songs themselves have any monetary value?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be real. I'm not really big on piracy, especially now because you have Spotify and YouTube. You shouldn't be doing that. But I still collect CDs. I still collect vinyl. I like supporting the band. I do think that you can make money on a song, but I think how you make money is what matters. The problem is like Spotify, they'll give you like what for one listen, like
I think it's 0.002 cents this last time.
yeah, like that you cannot make money off that. But like I feel like if you got a really good song, like I can't think of one off the top of my head, a recent one. I'd say probably like The Weeknd's like Blinding Lights. You hear that song everywhere. That has monetary. I think you could sell that. Even into commercials and stuff like that. But as a small band, probably not.
Right.
But that song could lead you. Like if you had to write a good song, that could lead you into making money. So I guess inadvertently it could be monetized. But I feel like a single song.
So songs really only have value until they have demand, possibly, or
Possibly. I mean, but also, I mean, we're talking about like monetize, like money.
yeah, yeah.
But like if it's like a personal thing, like a personal accomplishment, cool. I think that's awesome. I think that's more important than making money. But I feel like the biggest thing that holds songs from being monetized is how it is, like Spotify and you know, like YouTube and stuff like that. And also, there's a lot of bands out there, a lot of bands. So it's like the market's kind of like cluttered.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's more of like it's hard to get monetized. It's more to get your name out there these days.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's like a sea of all these bands. Everyone play, you know, Guitar Hero, Rocksmith. Everyone could play guitar now.
Yeah.
Everyone could play some sort of guitar. I mean, the Sex Pistols and the Ramones have proved you just need to know a couple chords.
Yep. And any given day on Bandcamp, there's 20 to 50 new releases. So I mean, you'll be seen on the new page for one day, maybe a couple hours.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's just there's too many. It's awesome, but also at the same time is just a lot of bands. So you need to like really write something that's really like breaks through the stratosphere. I think.
So I guess by that God, what am I trying to say here? Do you think that being a musician is a potential job for you, or is there a path for you to become a musician or Meteor King to become a financially viable thing? Is that something that you're looking into or hopeful for?
Of course, I'm very hopeful that happens, but I've always viewed music as it's a plan B. I know a lot of people use it as plan A. That's what you're going to do for a living. But I also had a dad that was he had me late in his life, and he's like, made me want to grow up. He's like, I worked in a steel mill when I was your age, you know?
Right.
I always viewed it as a plan B. If it hits, it's plan A now. But I always like have a lofty idea of what I want. So I'm fine. If I got into music, awesome. But I don't see it in my future.
Right.
You know, especially how things are costing so much money these days. You know, it's hard for musicians that want to make it. I mean, probably like it'd be on the recording side over performing side.
Yeah.
I feel like if I edited music, because I edit film a lot. Also, every Meteor King music video is filmed and edited by me.
Okay.
So I feel like that's more like the post-production side. The production side, I feel like that's where I'm more going to be if I made any money, be there. it wouldn't be playing my Les Paul
Yeah.
in like a stadium. I don't think that's going to happen.
So it seems like the path of least resistance is a conventional day job.
Yeah.
What do you do to fund the music?
Mostly my day job, my career. I mean, I'll just say I'm a video game tester. That's how I fund it, is my day job.
Okay.
As long as the bills are paid, that's my money. I can do whatever I want with it. So I use it towards film or music. A lot of the music is funded by us, not just me, but also Scott, Ronnie, our former members. They have funded it as well. I think we have an even amount of like putting into old bands. I used to put all of the money
Right.
in the thing. And that's a lot better. Back to the other question of like what I'm looking for now is I like members that put money into it.
Right.
You know, it's nice to have members that have a job. And because sadly things cost money.
Yeah.
They just do.
There's burdens that have to
I'm
be
not
shared.
It's like, oh, if I'm a sellout, things cost money, man. I can't control how the world is in 2022.
Yeah. Definitely. The recording process alone, I mean, whether you're going to learn to do it yourself and get some small amount of gear or pay somebody else, you're going to have to fork out some money.
I mean, Deep Crimson, I think was like $2,000 or maybe more, because we also had to print CDs and putting them on like digital and stuff like that, and also taking the time and everything. It's a good price because I know some people spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a record.
Yeah.
Thousands
of dollars.
Even if it's $500, that's a lot to some people. You know, $500, I mean, that's still a lot to me. But like, if you work retail, holy crap.
Yeah.
That's like your entire paycheck. Maybe 2 paychecks if you work like holiday season or something like that. You know,
Right.
this costs money, but you know, you get good quality if you spend more money, I realize.
Right.
Just how it is.
So when it comes to spending money, and this stuff does cost a lot of money. We often forget how much, you're bringing a band up to play in your club and you want to pay them $20, $100, $200, but they're bringing thousands of dollars worth of gear into your club just for a 30-minute set most of the time. The gear is sweet. It's our lifeblood. Do you have a favorite piece of gear yourself that you have used or owned over the years?
Oh man. Yeah, like I mostly play. I used to play like Behringer and crate amps, but orange amps have been really nice. I have like an orange like half stack. Well, it's not half stack. Yeah, I have an orange cabinet pretty much and head, and it's withstood a lot of things, and also has a very crisp sound, and it also goes well with pedals, and it just sounds really good. I've relied on orange a lot. Gear wise, I think guitar wise, I'm always a Les Paul person.
Okay.
I've dabbled in Fenders and stuff like that, and when I was a kid, I had that BC Rich Warlock that everyone had. But I think Les Paul's mostly Epiphone because Gibson
Yeah.
they're expensive. But like I feel like my Les Pauls are my favorite. They also have a thick sound. I love that about it. So it's like that's why I've mostly been doing, or SGs.
Yeah.
Mostly if it's Epiphone, I'll probably play it. But like orange mixed with my Epiphone Les Pauls, I think that's my favorite combination.
Right. You feel you're at the Grail state, or are you on the hunt still for new gear? Do you get what they call gear acquisition syndrome?
I mean, I'm itching to get more stuff now. Once you get the itch, it's really hard to scratch, and it's nice that Guitar Center has a credit card system. But I think my thing I'm more into is pedals.
Okay.
I want to get more into pedals. I only have like a standard distortion and standard like reverb and another chorus one. But I would love to because I like my mid-20s to now, I'm really into shoegaze. So they're all guitar pedals, all weird sounds. So I'm always interested, maybe not for Meteor, maybe for just my own personal, I'm going to write these weird things. That's what I'm more looking forward towards. I mean, of course, I would love to get a new guitar, but I already have 7 guitars. I don't need another one.
Right.
I don't have room for another one. And all the guitars I have sentimental value, so I don't want to sell them either. So
do you have a point in which there's too much gear, or is it the more the merrier with you? Because 7 guitars is a lot. I'm saying this as a person who is surrounded by a wall of guitars right now, but we have the space for it. Clearly, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm limited to what. I mean, I live in a single apartment. I live alone, but I know in the future, me and my girlfriend are gonna move in, and also she has stuff. And at some point, I'm gonna be like, I can't have all these guitars. I'm gonna have to put these in storage. It's one of those things like there's not enough space. It's partially why I stopped collecting a lot of comic books.
Yeah.
Those long boxes, they take up a lot of space.
Yeah,
and
very
also
quickly.
it also matters on how much I use them. Right now we're not playing shows, so it's like, do I need another guitar? Do I need any of this stuff? Not really. So that's why it's more of like the need more than the wants. Oh, trust me, if I had a mansion, I would have so many guitars. I'd have walls of guitars, but it's just, and the older I get, the more I'm like, I think I can get everything accomplished with 2 guitars.
Right.
Yeah, I have 7 guitars, but a lot of them are like the pickups are not good anymore, and I have to redo them. I mostly only use like 3 guitars total.
Right. How about hobbies or passion projects? Do you have? You mentioned briefly film, video stuff. Video game testing. I imagine you play some video games when you're not at work that you may like a little bit more than the stuff that you do at work. Does any of this stuff fight for your music time? Does it complement the music time whatsoever? I mean, I guess you get to make the music videos for one.
Yeah. Well, the video game stuff, I like to play like Nintendo stuff. Like I can't play long games 'cause I do it for a job. I don't want to touch video games usually. But if it's like Tony Hawk Pro Skater had a remaster, I played the crap out of that.
Okay.
Because you can turn it off and walk away. I'm not playing Elden Ring because also I do not like games where I hate everything. I played Super Nintendo for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I don't need to live through like Super Ghouls and Ghosts, but in Bloodborne or like was it Dark Souls? Like I don't want to live that way anymore. But I think my biggest hobbies are we do the YouTube stuff for Mint Condition Productions.
Okay.
Mostly it's like movie reviews or music reviews or whatever. But we do short films. We're actually writing a feature-length film, but we mostly do horror films. I have a new one that I'm actually in the final touches called Butterfly Black Velvet. You can just check it out on my Instagram or Facebook. That it's coming out maybe March, hopefully. We're looking to do DVDs and stuff like that, but like I gotta finish it first.
Right.
I'm in like sound mixing. I'm almost done. So yeah, I mean that's filmmaking's the biggest thing I've been doing. I will say music has taken a backseat a little bit, but mostly because the pandemic was a big thing, and also once we were ready to play shows, we lost a drummer, which is hard to find. It's hard to find drummers these days.
Yeah.
So music has taken a backseat, but also I have all these I write, I edit, I do all kinds of stuff with the film stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing I do as a hobby. And also having a life, me and my friend Scott, the singer of Meteor King, watch a lot of wrestling. And I have, and the girlfriend wants to go on adventures, which I love I've usually an introvert, but she's introduced me to hiking.
Right.
If you had told me 2 years ago that I'd be hiking, I would have called you crazy. But life is good,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hobbies I'm doing.
Right on. Let's talk about the drummer thing a little bit. So
Sure.
you are without a drummer, and Meteor King is looking for a drummer. You guys have 4 releases on Bandcamp, I think?
Yes. We have, it's on Bandcamp, it's on Spotify, it's on Pandora, I think. If you'll still use that. It's on Kazaa, I know that. Yeah. We have Della Morte, which is an EP. Lords of the Comet, which is our first full length, Solomon Rain, our second EP, and then we have Deep Crimson, which is our most recent release. Yeah, that's what we have so far. There's probably a lot of songs that we have on we recorded on our iPhone that will never see the light of day. Maybe it will
Right.
Probably won't.
So a prospective drummer would be expected to learn all of the material, or maybe just a set's worth of the material to be able to fill in for the shows.
I'd say set worth. Luckily we have songs that are like, we have a lot of variety of like tempos and stuff like that. A lot of it's fast, but there's some songs that are slower. We would kind of just judge on the drummer. Like, if they're not really good at doing really super fast songs, we'll do more slower songs. If they're not super technical, we'll do more classic punk beat songs. So we're open to, like, we understand drummers have their own styles.
Yep.
So we want to kind of let them, because also the drummer, it changes the vibe of the band.
Yeah.
It changes the flow and how it feels. So I feel like for just to fill in for like one show, we would kind of say, hey, what songs do you think you can learn really fast? Those are the songs on the set. But like if we have a permanent drummer, we have 30 songs total. Right. 30, maybe 30 plus, I think, that are on our catalog. We would play 10 of them. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to play all of them. Like there's some songs that, me personally, I would like to never play again. Like the song, if you ever heard the song Della Morte, I hate playing that song with a passion. And we'll probably never play that on set anymore because we've written so many more songs, we don't need to anymore.
Yeah.
But like, it's, we're open to whatever. And also, if we get a new drummer, we're probably going to write new stuff with them.
Yeah.
Because we also got to see their creative juices, their creative flow, and how everything works. And,
So with them being with you, I mean, you're looking for more of a full-time drummer that's going to be a actual, like a fourth member of the band or whatnot.
Yeah.
And you guys want to write collaboratively if possible, like have the drummer in the room and not necessarily shoot the stuff back and forth to him.
Yeah, we like to, I mean, it feels like it's still the pandemic time. Yeah, we probably have to do it like virtually, but no, we want them, if they're going to be part of the band, we want their creative influence. We want their inputs. We are not, I'm always open to like their critiques too. If I write a riff that's not good, I would like them to tell me it's not good because I don't want to put it on record.
Right.
And vice versa. They also have to be okay to take critical criticism. Like, hey, I don't like how you're drumming that. Can you do it this way? If you throw a temper tantrum, that might not be good. But we're open to creative. Yeah, we want if they're in the full time of the band, I want them to have an equal voice to us. I don't want it to seem like the three of us outweigh the other one. I want it to be like they're an equal part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you don't necessarily want a gun for hire just for shows. That's just going to come in and, oh, you guys got a gig on Saturday? Okay, I'll learn some songs and I'll be there. You want somebody who's a little bit more involved than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to it right now because we don't have anything. We have like maybe one or two prospects that may not work out.
But ideally,
we would like to have a permanent drummer. But if it comes down to it, to where like we get a big opportunity for a show, big show that we cannot turn down, I would like to get a fill-in drummer. We've had some people that could fill in. The drummer of Wolf in Sheep's Clothing has filled in for us for the 69 Eyes show, and he was supposed to fill in for us for our most recent show, but that show got canceled. Unbeknownst to us, got canceled. But yeah, I mean, we have ideas on fill-ins, but like right now, it's like the shows are just now coming out again. So it's like, we don't have to be in a rush, but if there's a big opportunity, we're going to take it.
It is kind of hard to be one of the first people to jump back into the frying pan after all this stuff.
I mean, we played shows in October. Like we played at the Depot. We opened for the Jasons, which was cool. And we're open to play as long as people feel safe. The Depot. I'll say the Depot. Here's me doing a cheap plug for the Depot. They take, not saying other venues don't, but they really take precautions for COVID. Like they had like a seated show, which is, if you've been to the Depot, that's
that's pretty weird.
What? But everyone wore masks. If you're on stage, you're probably not wearing a mask, but if you're off stage, put a mask on, which is like, great. You got to keep the people safe.
Right.
Because if they feel that they're not safe, they're not going to go to your show.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say something on social media. They don't follow protocols, and then that's going to be wildfire, and you don't want that. So,
So if you were a drummer and you make some money and are able to contribute to a band as well as get yourself to and fro a studio, and preferably want to be a full-time contributing member to an organization making horror punk music, this band and this man himself are looking for, that sort of thing. Could you go ahead and tell the fine people out there where they can find your music and where to contact you?
Meteor King, I mean, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/Meteor King Band. We also have an Instagram, Meteor King Band. Bandcamp, meteorking.bandcamp.com. Me personally is like Suede Guy. You can check me out on Instagram. I post a lot of vinyl records and stuff. I mean, we're on everything: Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Music. Sorry, it's not iTunes anymore. Google Music. We have a YouTube page, our own personal YouTube page. I think we made a TikTok a long time ago.
Wow.
We have like 2 things on it. So, I mean, we have that. I mean, just search Meteor King. You're going to find us. Just hit us up.
You're the only Meteor King, correct?
We are. That's another thing about me is when we have ideas, I Google search all of it.
Ah, okay.
I mean, we got the name from I was playing F-Zero, and there's I think it's either a car or a racer called King Meteor.
Ah,
And I was like,
okay.
let's switch it. And then if you search Meteor King, you might get King Meteor, but it's not King Meteor. We're
Throw in
Meteor
band at the end just to make sure that you're finding the good stuff.
Yeah, we're on everything. So you can probably, if we're not on a certain social media that you want us to be, let us know. I think the only thing we're not on is like Snapchat.
Right.
Which I don't. I think I'm too old. I don't understand Snapchat. Why do you want something for 30 seconds? Why?
Yeah.
I guess it's good for like if you're doing online dating and you don't want, stuff showing. But but I don't personally understand Snapchat. I'm not hip with the kids, I think.
Fair enough. Well, Wade, thanks for being in here.
Of course, this is fun.
Check out Meteor King on all platforms. Go teach yourself how to play drums and apply to be in this band. Yeah. And we'll see you in the future at a show with the drummer. Maybe a new record as well.
It'll happen. We have prospects, and I don't see us not having a drummer long.
Awesome.
It's just, we're going to make it the right fit, and that's the idea.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in here and sharing your thoughts about all my weird questions that I want to know from musicians about how they play music.
It could have been weirder, I think.
It could be. And actually, I think we might revise some of the questions in the future so that we can have some repeat guests and all that stuff. So.
What's the weirdest outfit you wore? I can tell you. It was a Frankenstein. No. It was a full black bodysuit because it was a Halloween show. I couldn't think of a costume. Like, I did the Otakons. I'm going to have this black bodysuit and I'm going to put whiskers on me, and I went to Claire's and got like a glittery cat glove, and I was a cat. I was a black cat on our Halloween show at the Depot. So that is the weirdest outfit. It's probably go on facebook.com/Meteor King Band. You'll probably see the picture of me in it. So that's more enticing for you to go check us out.
Absolutely. Shout out to Black Cats. Thank you for checking out the interview, and we'll get into the outro right now.
If you have a desire to see us live and in the flesh, your chance to do that will be April 2nd at JB Love Drafts in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, along with Electrocutioner, Morbid Cross, and Bastard Cross. We will be there in the capacity of our thrash band, Ralph.
Yeah, man. It is a free show. 21 and up with ID at 225 North 2nd Street in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Sponsored by Are You Morbid podcast, Never Say Die Tattoo, and the band and brewery, not band,
Bar
and brewery, JB Love Drafts. Yeah. Double Cross show.
Double Morbid show, too.
Cross it off your bucket list by coming and checking us out.
If you like Thrash, that's where you're going to want to be.
Absolutely. Now, if you're watching this video right now on YouTube, can you do us a favor and hit that thumbs up button down there and subscribe to the channel, because it helps it out a lot. And if you're listening to this on an audio podcast, you could help us out a lot by giving us a review, right?
Yeah, 5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars every time. 5-star man. We should be available on all the platforms. If you're listening to this on a different platform and you want to listen to it on your other app that we're not on, you should tell us at our, overarching business entity known as Medusa Head Media. Our email is
medusaheadmedia@gmail.com.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, we know. If you want to collaborate on audio, video, or print projects, hit us up. We'd love to work with you, man. This is recorded at Orion Studios in Baltimore, Maryland. Thank you to Wade of Meteor King. Thank you to Kermit the Frog. He's dipping down here. I don't know what's going on with Kermit. He's a little drunk today.
Yeah.
And, of course, Kyle and our listeners. Thank
And
you
the other
so
half
much.
for you boys, Ed.
I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Glory to Ukraine.
Bloom them sunflowers.